Star Citizen gameplay might be hitting a stride. The game is still deep in development and there are plenty of problems with it, don't get me wrong. But the features being worked on at this point are screaming warnings that industrial gameplay is about to take off. And with that, the economy. This month, I'll be showing you the development highlights of Star Citizen, the upcoming Vulkan API integration, refining gameplay, EVA Tier 2, Pyro, and even a quick mention of the quantum economy simulation. Sit back and enjoy. This is your April 2023 Star Citizen Monthly Report, and it's a good one. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk. As always, we begin with AI, which was mainly focusing on general behaviors that will fill out the verse with activity, but likely not impact your play too much. You know, things like mops and buckets. The tech team completed work on the navigation cost modifier we've been covering that determines the likelihood of each individual NPC to take a path based on external factors. This will be affected by things like the NPC type and what the NPC has equipped or is wearing. Work also began on ground vehicle collision avoidance for AI. Like we've seen with ships, AI are going to need to avoid running down other AI, objects, and vehicles. And like with ships, they'll probably only be partially effective. On the vehicle feature side, AI worked on the new fighter combat AI design for testing that will be their main focus over the next couple months. Collision avoidance was also improved with a focus on complex environments that will be necessary for the ship recall feature we recently covered in last month's report. On the art side, the character team completed new frontier environmental outfits for desert and toxic environments. Not sure if these outfits will have actual environmental impacts though. In the ships department, a lot of movement, and a lot of vehicles, which I assume are ground vehicles, but they do specify ground sometimes, so it can just get a bit confusing with the naming. An all-new vehicle, that's vehicle number 1, passed through final art, with a LOD 0 art pass beginning on its variant. A new ship in production passed the white box stage, not necessarily something we don't know about, but could be one of the unannounced vehicles we saw in the March monthly report, though that'd be inconsistent naming. Work was wrapped up on the RSI Lynx coming in 319, while another ground vehicle continued through gray box. Those are vehicle numbers 2 and 3. The Argo SRV LOD 0 work was completed, mostly finishing the ship art-wise. Along with this, a pass retrofitting the vehicle tractor beams onto all supported ships began. This could include the Cutlass, Nomad, 315P, Constellation Taurus, Spirit C1, Caterpillar, Reliant Core, and the Reclaimer. A lot of ships are going to get changed by tractor beams. We've already looked at how big a deal this will be recently, I'll link that down below, but this will be a massive change to the way the game is played in line with all the industrial advancements we're also seeing right now. Moving asteroids with mining deposits, boxes with commodities, weapons, salvage materials, other ships, and more will get a lot easier. Another upcoming vehicle, that would be vehicle number 4, has completed the gray box phase as well, and the alien medium fighter, the Santok Yai, progressed in gray box. While I traditionally can't tell you too much about the engine progress, I'll share what I can understand here. But as always, I'd suggest coming to our live review of these reports for more detail and discussion, and for somebody from chat to tell me what I'm missing. The core engine team last month ironed out some of the work we've been hearing about for a while now, like the new pack format that they've been testing over the last couple of months. As for Gen 12 renderer progress, the team is porting over the last rendering passes to the new Vulkan API. Though we can't tell yet how close it might be to implementation. We are clearly getting closer to a pretty major milestone for the rendering team. Hopefully their work continues to improve performance on top of recent improvements. The entry lifetime system also was updated to allow level designers to specify how aggressively a certain area may need to be cleaned up of clutter and items. Winch support was added to the rope system, which could be used for a multitude of reasons we still aren't very clear on, but I'm sure they'll share something about this with us soon. Finally, improvements to wheeled vehicle physics were made, hopefully to be implemented along with other improvements we've been seeing in development. Okay, features. This is the good stuff. For the Arena Commander team, new game modes were created for the upcoming update to Arena Commander, along with 2 new versions of Deferred Link Racetrack and a new polished front end. Lastly, designs were completed for a new unannounced feature. On the character side of things, the features team began adding EVA fuel to the actor loadout. This is part of the EVA Tier 2 update, which focuses on solidifying zero-G traversal. That is, either with EVA thrusters, which run on a limited amount of fuel, a tractor beam that is limited by power supply, or your hands, which obviously lack range. Various puzzles and challenges, as well as that ever-present need to plan your trips, will make use of this traversal system. This update actually seems to be much closer for Star Citizen than I would have thought, as it is one of the major features from the actor feature team that were specifically designed for Squadron 42 first. We'll have to see if the feature ends up being as polished as they claimed though. In addition to this, the weapons feature team worked on flak ammunition, no doubt a large part of what will someday be capital ship combat and will definitely be in Squadron 42. The gameplay features EU-based teams progressed with mining and tractor beam features coming in Alpha 3.19. On salvage, work progressed on the hull munching feature, which allows ships to go a step further and actually dismantle a ship into its core components to sell. The final goal for this system is for the salvage you collect from a ship to realistically reflect each and every material that ship is made of, including its density and value. This is sure to complicate the salvage process and add a lot more logistics into the whole game loop, but it's still a ways away. For now, hull munching will be a simplified version, likely coming later this year. We'll talk about it more in the summer. But it is likely going to be the third form of salvage after component detaching is added in 3.19. Moving on from salvage, refining gameplay has now been defined, and the first blockouts for the UI are being created. This will lead to yet another industrial profession and a new class of ships entering the game. On these features teams, the engineers focused on the new cargo deck, the cargo loading game loop, and cargo warehouses. All of these features are linked together along with asynchronous buy-sell orders, cargo loading timers and fees, and freight elevators to the Hull C. With this addition, cargo hauling will see a big shift over to a fully physicalized process, and likely a major update to the economy. While the Hull C is scheduled for the 3.20 patch later this year, it is not confirmed just yet. Regardless, we just touched on major updates to mining, salvage, refining, and cargo hauling. It's safe to say industrial players can start to feel the love finally, and we aren't done. In 3.19, a major refactor to resource distribution is occurring. With this, refining rates will be rebalanced based on the most abundant materials in that part of the system, and sell prices will be changed as well. I've already been encountering this on my streams on this channel if you want to come check out the salvage and mining gameplay we've been doing daily this week. The economy this year is seemingly finally moving, and things are looking good. Finally, ship prices and insurance expedite fees were changed up a little bit. On the missions side of things, work began on new salvage missions, a key part of the game that will utilize the salvaging features we were just talking about to create a more predictable and packaged environment for those not too keen on sandbox gameplay. We dove deep into the mission system recently here on the channel. I'll link that video for you down below. The team also worked on package extraction, data heist, and consignment retrieval missions, all possibly taking advantage and showcasing new physicalized cargo and hacking gameplay, as well as once again creating more set pieces for the casual players. In the graphics department, water volumes continue to see work as the new update looks to improve several aspects of water like atmospheric and fog volumes, and water ripple simulations for objects dropped in water or ships crashing into it. The programming team began moving volumetric fog and gas clouds to Vulkan. The UI tech team made progress on the interior maps feature, with current focus on performance improvements. The in-game branding team focused on the main landing zone in the next star system, Pyro. This is a massive outlaw space station that will likely not be very popular for players in the more acceptable forms of work. The lighting team also worked on Ruin Station, which clearly has lights in it, as you can see right here, and they worked on cave lighting, with the aim to update existing and upcoming cave systems. The narrative team worked closely with the features team, specifically the missions features team, to support salvage missions, package extraction missions, data heists, and consignment retrieval missions. And to everybody's joy, they're also looking at expanding the air traffic control dialogue past the same tired greeting.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
This is primarily to support the new cargo features later this year, though. They also, of course, put work towards Pyro, including developing the lore behind the first missions. I'm not sure if this indicates that all teams used to do research and development and now don't, or the company just decided to formalize the name, but now we have a research and development segment here. I hope that means most teams are done researching personally, but we'll see. This team specifically, though, has began working on improving temporal render mode for clouds while also working on the vertical profile and volumetric look of them. This includes looking at more ways to decrease artifacts in cloud rendering. This team is who we look to for our economy news. And finally, at long last, we are seeing a mention of the quantum economy. I released a previous supporter exclusive this week showing the history of how this system was conceptualized and how it's coming together to create the backbone of Star Citizen. It's a really good watch, I'd suggest it, and I'll leave it for you linked down below. But the system has yet to truly materialize and prove itself. So maybe this year we'll see stronger signs of it than what was done last year. Elsewhere, the team is progressing on service beacon upgrades, which will hopefully allow for more nuanced player-assigned tasks for other players. And I don't know, maybe a refuel beacon? In UI, several Squadron 42 features were improved that may make their way into the PU, not at all being shy about priorities there. This includes improved radio menus and weapons screens. They also worked with VFX programming on the interior map. Finally, VFX worked on several props and interactable items as well as a new type of volatile cargo. They also progressed with Lorville, caves, and 2 new vehicles. Overall, the message from this review is that the backbone of this game is coming together. The combined progress in salvage, cargo hauling, refining, mining, new missions, resource distribution, and the overall economic simulation sounds like a massive ramp-up in the overall feel of the game. The industrial sector is what drives the game, and cargo is at the center of that. With the cargo refactor coming in with the whole sea in production, things are really looking up in that department like they haven't in years. And we didn't really get into bounty hunting V2, hacking, underground facilities, building interiors, or engineering this month. The amount of tangible, player-facing features being worked on right now dwarfs previous years, and it's good to see. If you enjoy these reviews or recent development in Star Citizen and want to learn more about the game, consider subscribing to the channel for more. And if you'd like to support the channel, check out Patreon down below or become a YouTube channel member. I release exclusive timed videos to all supporters every month, as well as behind the scenes, exclusive live podcasts, and more. This is because up till now we've opted to not take sponsors on this channel, and we're supported primarily by the community. If you'd like to be a part of it, you can join now and see my recent videos looking at how Star Citizen should cater to non-pilot players, whether 3.18 broke the patch cycle for good, or learn about the new hover mode, among other things. As always, I mainly hope that you learned something new in this video, and I'll catch you in the next.